Hi guys, it's Savannah. I hope everyone is having a good week and having a good time at school, and also including a happy Halloween since my last Q&A. This month I'm doing the November Q&A. I'm just gonna give you as many answers as I can without falling over and doing something really stupid. I'm not sure why I'm using my hands so much, so I'm sorry if I do that a lot. So the first question is, what is your favorite dessert and why? Well, as a chocoholic, anything with chocolate, chocolate chips, fudge, chocolate syrup, anything chocolate is like my favorite. Just kind of boil everything down. My favorite would either be from Outback Steakhouse called the Chocolate Thunder Down Under, and reason being is because it has vanilla ice cream with warm brownie in the center, along with some hot fudge drizzled on the ice cream on top with some whipped cream, I think, with some chocolate pieces sprinkled all over the place. So you could probably see why I would devour that thing in like less than a minute, which has happened before, trust me. Second, I would consider this chocolate cake from Red Lobster that I always get, because again, I'm a chocoholic and anything chocolate is like my favorite. And so it's basically this big chunk of cake, and it's chocolate with chocolate chips stuck to the edge of it, like the outer edge of it when you have like the cake. And it has chocolate fudge in the center of the cake, like inside of the cake, along with outside to stick to the chocolate chips. Oh my god, it's so good. I'm telling you, just talking about it right now just makes me want to have some like right now. What's your favorite anime? I have a whole bunch that I really like that I recently finished. I'd probably say my top 3 would be Arpeggio of Blue Steel, which I finished about 2 weeks ago, Blue Exorcist, The Devil is a Part-Timer, along with a few such as Attack on Titan, Black Butler, Princess Jellyfish, Dead Man Wonderland. I do like looking or enjoying some of the more gory animes that I really love watching. Psychopaths. I really love Psychopaths. Ghost Hunt. I really loved Ghost Hunt. That was like, I love paranormal stuff, so just to have paranormal activity combined with anime was just like a whoosh. If you could do anything in the world without fear or failure, what would you do? That, I think, is a really good question, because there's a lot of things that I would consider without fear or failure without that being the cause of some things. One of the things would be because I've said a lot of stupid stuff over the years, I would try to go back in time and fix all the things I've said that I think about years later, like while I'm sleeping, and then just suddenly just be like, oh my god, I can't believe I still said that like 4 years ago. Like, I would go back in time and completely erase all the embarrassing things I've said that made me look stupid, because literally there have been some things I've said that were so dumb. For example, 6th grade, we were playing a Jeopardy game in my history class, right? And so while I am there for my team, the question was, what was the color of George Washington's white horse? One of the most easiest questions that my teacher gave us. Do you know what I said to that answer? With such confidence. Oh my god, I'm totally gonna get this. I'm gonna get all these points, and my teammates are gonna think I'm awesome. What was the color of George Washington's white horse? Black. So now you can understand why I probably want to go back in time and kind of erase all the dumb things I said, because that still scars me to this day, and I think about it in my sleep, and it haunts me in my sleep. How do you react to people in public who judge or stare at you? Of course, everywhere I go, I get stared at a lot, and I'm sure I get judged a whole bunch. It's a natural thing. All I can say is ignore what people are going to think about you, because everybody does that to each other. No matter what you do, whether you have blue hair or brown hair, you know, body modifications, no body modifications, people are going to judge no matter what you do. And even if they do that, and just think of it in a positive way, they were taking the time to talk about you when they could have done something else. So think of that as you being really important, because they were willing to waste their time just to think about you and stare at you. Even when someone stares at you, just doesn't matter. There's people that stare at you because they think, oh wow, she's like really pretty. She has really awesome hair. And even if it's staring in a rude way, you know, screw them. It shouldn't affect your day. Again, they're taking all that time out of the day just to stare at you. So consider yourself important when they do that. Everybody judges, everybody stares. So it's nothing out of the ordinary or cruel or whatever, because you know, if it's all negative, screw them. That's all I can say. And I promise you, it will not bother you. Like, it never bothers me, because I don't really care. It doesn't affect my day. That's their problem. What color will you dye your hair next? So I've been going through the whole pastel hair craze lately, just because I really love how my pastel blue hair has turned out, and I've gotten a lot of compliments from it. I was thinking, since I've had a long run with this pastel blue hair, I was thinking of going lavender. I know a lot of people do lavender hair, but who cares? Like, literally, seriously, who cares? I think lavender or lilac hair looks freaking fantastic. I'm not done with my pastel hair, rainbow stuff. Do you consider yourself famous, and how do you feel when people say that you are? I don't consider myself famous because famous people to me are those that you see on the red carpet, who have paparazzi everywhere, that are following them every second of the way. I'm just an average person that takes pictures of herself and does YouTube videos. Nowadays, it's so much more easier to get this kind of recognition, because you can pay or buy followers. You can buy subscribers. You can buy viewers and things like that. So it's a lot easier to do that now. So really, having the amount of subscribers on YouTube and Instagram followers doesn't compare to others that have like 1 million subscribers and all that kind of stuff. So really, I don't consider myself famous. When people say that they consider myself famous, or that's what they think, I'm not really sure how to react to that, because it's kind of like, oh cool, you know, you consider me that on some type of pedestal, I guess. I don't know. I just don't consider myself famous, because I'm not. I just have people that like my pictures, enjoy my videos. So there's really nothing, you know, to say that would consider me famous. So even if someone was like, oh my god, you're that famous Instagrammer, YouTuber, it's kind of like, oh, you know, I'm kind of thrown off by it, but at the same time, it does flatter me because people consider me that. But yeah, I don't really put myself up there with most people. Why do you like kitties so much? Well, I really love cats. I mean, I love animals in general. I'm a huge animal lover. I love dogs, I love cats, birds, anything like that. I love animals. I really love cats. This all started, my obsession with cats started about 4 or 5 years ago when I had a cat called Puddin, P-U-D-D-E-N. That's how I pronounced chocolate pudding when I was little. I had Puddin since I was 4 years old. 4 years old. She was like the other half of me. I raised her, even at 4 years old, I raised her when she was just a newborn kitten. Like literally, her and her litter were in a paper bag and thrown out of the car on the side of the road by the person that had them. And my mom and I were volunteering at an animal shelter that was right next to the kittens where they were found. And we got her from that litter just because, you know, we take any kind of animal in, old, sick, new, whatever. That's how our family is. I picked her out, and I've had her for such a long time. I raised her as like my own child, basically. and we had the closest bond. Like when I was crying, she would be there for me. She would sit in my lap, and just my feelings just changed after that. You know, I wasn't crying anymore. She tolerated me so much. Even when I was younger, I would dress her up like a princess. Like I would dress her up as anything, and she took it and she loved it, because when she saw I took out the baby doll clothes, she would start playing with it, all this kind of stuff. So she knew what I was gonna do. It's like she kind of understood me in a way, like, you know how pets are loyal to you and will do anything for you and understand you like they do. And she was like that for me, and she was the closest thing I ever had to feeling that unconditional love. When she was 13 years old, when we were moving from the last state I was living in, she got out of the house. Like we usually let her outside just because she was in our backyard, and we would let her have time to, you know, be outside while we were moving furniture into the moving truck, and we didn't realize it because everything was happening so fast we didn't notice what was going on. So when I was in the living room, I heard her getting attacked by a feral male cat outside of her house. So I brought her in, and I didn't realize she was outside, so I brought her in, and then I realized a week after that happened, she got really sick. The doctors gave her medicine and she was fine. When we moved to Florida, she lost like so much weight, and she was like skin and bones, like just a bag of bones. She got really sick. I think that it had to do with being bit by this male feral cat. Not only that, but being at an old age, she was 13. If I'm correct, just because we had her for such a long time, but she was 13 when we had her. Old age and being sick was not good. She was my cat, she was miserable, and she was suffering. I had to make the decision to have her put down. And I know people hate when that happens, but I had to, and it was the most traumatizing thing for me, because basically half of my heart got ripped out when this happened. Being traumatized by something I had to do for the sake of her from suffering, there was still this empty hole. Sounds so dramatic, but there was this empty hole in my heart that needed to be filled, because I was so depressed. Like my depression just kind of came out when that happened. So I was depressed during my junior year of high school, because I had to cope with not having her around. That obsession with cats came along because I mean I got the same feeling I did with dogs, but with a cat, with her, it meant a lot to me. When I was obsessed with cats, it made me feel better. It made me think about her. That's where my obsession with cats started. Having to fill in this hole in my heart to cope with the fact that this cat I had for so long was not with me anymore. And you know, it's still like that. And even with Izzy, currently Izzy fills that hole in my heart because she reminds me of Puddin' so much. It's scary. Like she acts just like her and everything. Cats make things better. That's all the questions I'm gonna ask for this month. I'm gonna work on some other videos that I'm gonna do for you guys. If I haven't answered any of your questions in this video, feel free to leave those questions next month for December Q&A. So I hope everyone is going to have a wonderful day. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. If you like this video, give it a like. You can follow me on Instagram and Tumblr at Lucid Kitties. I'll see you guys until next time.